Good morning, stamping friends. This is Jenny from Celebrate the Journey, and I'm sorry I have been kind of missing in action lately. Life just got busy, and we've been remodeling, finishing our basement, and lots of banging stuff going on, so I was not doing your lives for you in the morning, but I thought I'd pop in this morning and share a fun little card with you, and before we get started on another busy day. And I hope you guys are having a good day and a good week. It's Thursday, isn't it? I think that's what day it is. So I'm going to go ahead and start because I know nobody was expecting me to be here. So if you pop in and I see you, I'll say hi, and then that'll be great. So I'm going to use Nature's Prints. I think this is probably my favorite new stamp set from the annual catalog. The paper is stunning. The stamps are great. It's got thinking of you, thank you, birthday, all kinds of sentiments that I think would fit everything. And what's cool about this one is you can change the card by just changing the color palette. Now the designer series paper is Night of Navy, whites. This is gray granite. I believe that's what, let's see what the back of the paper says. You know that they list the paper, the ink colors. Oh, Night of Navy, Gray Granite, Pacific Point, and Starry Sky. Well, it's hard. I really kind of forgot. There's Pacific Point right in there in that paper. So that would work perfect. So look at these pretty colors. Really interesting patterns. These are called cyanotypes. It's based on putting a light-sensitive paper in the sun and laying botanicals on it, and it dyes the paper, or it brings out the color of the paper. There's a pretty one. And then it's the gray granite. Just some nice calm dots. Little ferns here. Nice, that's a great male, masculine. There's more of the Pacific Point. Looks like dandelion thing. Let's see if we've done all the patterns. Oh, I love this one. Isn't that gorgeous? That's, you could frame that. And then looks like sky. So I was thinking this morning that that technique of 4 cards, stamping 4 cards all at once, and then cutting the paper might work for this. I might have to try that later today. See if we can make some cards with that. So I'm changing the color palette today to the gray granite. I'm matching it with Blushing Bride. So that just changes the whole color palette altogether. Now I put my gray granite piece away. I guess it was in this stack of paper. We'll have to find it here. Oh, here we go. This is the one we're going to use. Okay. Popped it in there without thinking. And we're going to just layer that on. This is 4 by 5 1/2, and then 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Just to give it a tiny little mat of Blushing Bride. Good morning, Leanne. Did I surprise you by showing up today? It's been a while since I've been live on a Thursday morning. And we can mount this on a thick basic white. We'll crease that, and I think we can go ahead and mount that because we're not doing any fancy folds, or this is a fairly simple card here today. I wonder what other colors we could use with this. Oh, this would be real pretty in greens, wouldn't it? So, like I said, whatever color palette you go with, you can change these stamps around. And we'll put this to the side and do some stamping. So we're going to stamp with Blushing Bride and Gray Granite. We'll do this large, this is a wood fern, and we'll stamp that in Gray Granite. Let's see if that'll fit there. Yeah. This is one of those larger stamps, so sometimes it's easier to ink it upside down, depending on your dexterity here. This is a pretty heavy block. And that's so pretty, isn't it? Shows all the little details of the leaves and fronds. And then we'll stamp this natural branches with Blushing Bride. Oh, that didn't come out very good. I think we'll stamp another one. Didn't ink it up, I guess. Yeah, that's better. And I think we'll do our sentiment in a few minutes. That to the side. Don't want to lay my arm in the ink. And now we have matching dies that will die cut this. So we can put that on. You could fussy cut this one. That's not too difficult if you don't like die cutting. But the other one, probably need the die cut. And now we'll run this one. Yeah, the prints are very subtle, but that's what makes them versatile, because you can use them for so many things. Even just the tiny scrap, you can go ahead and save it and use it for an accent piece. All right, we'll run this through the cut and emboss machine. I'm thinking I probably want to put a little wink of Stella on the wood fern. I don't know. We'll see. I think so. Just a tiny bit. We'll shake that up a little. I could even put a little here on these, like the berries. Put a little bit of sparkle. Sparkle never hurt anything. And then this will drag the color a little bit. Now, give it a little more interest. You can't see Waco Stella on the camera very well, but it's there. I'm not sure I can even see it this morning. Oh, we need a little bit more. I'm going to squeeze it just a tiny bit. There. If you squeeze this too hard, it will ooze out. That looks much better. Okay. Now we need to, I see some holes there we need to poke out. Now in this die set, we have some extra, these pieces will cut out the images that you stamped, but then we have some little leafy fern kinds of things, these little blossoms. So we're going to cut some of these with the gray granite. And you have 3, so we'll go ahead and cut 3. And we're also going to use this as kind of a wreath shape, but it's not perfectly round. We're going to cut that with Blushing Bride. So we can do both of these at the same time. So we'll put these in the cut and emboss machine. Since that's pretty detailed, I'll run it through twice, that wreath image. So that we make sure and get all the cuts nice and clear cut. Let's see, I don't know. Oh, I know what happened when I ran that through twice. It slipped on these, so I need to run that again. Instead of making a leaf, it made confetti. Hope it didn't do that on the pink part. That's much better. Those just fall right out. We should have 3 of these. There we go. And here's our wreath image. It's going to pop right out. I wonder if we... Just kind of wiggle here. There we go. And we'll have to poke a few little sections out. Yes, having multiples makes a huge difference, as you can get your cards done quicker without quite so much die cutting. All right, let's get those chads out of the way, and we can kind of put our card together. So here's our card. We're going to put our wreath I like that. Kind of fills it up nicely. We'll just adhere that with some Tombow. Could use an adhesive sheet for this, but I think letting it be kind of lacy and airy so it's looks nice. So I didn't use the adhesive sheet. I'm not sure. Sometimes the adhesive sheet also makes it not cut quite so nicely. Works better for larger, less frilly. And then that'll do fine. Now we're going to put these on with some dimensionals. Here. At least the large one will be on with a dimensional. Give it some height. Nice little lift. To our image. Oh, just barely made it there. That should do it. Pull those off. And this one, I think we can just use some Tombow, your favorite adhesive, whichever. And then we're going to just sneak these around in our wreath. So we'll put a little dot of glue. See where we want to slide that in there. Kind of make it look like a wreath you would hang on your front door. It looks very natural to have it lifted up like that. And one more probably right over here. There we go. So that's that to start with. And now we need a sentiment. I wanted to use this hello there and then die cut it with this label. This is a pretty little label. It'll go right there. But I'm wondering if the gray granite is dark enough. So let's try it. Sometimes I want my sentiments to have some, where you don't have to strain your eyes. that's kind of light. So I was wondering about if soft suede would be too dark or too different. So let's try it and see. Might just, oh no, I think it looks fine. You can read it better. Don't you think the darker? Hello there. All right, we'll do soft suede. Now I should have a scrap here. And you got to leave room for the dye. That will work. Close that up. And we can die cut this. Now it leaves a lot of white space, but we shouldn't be afraid of white space. It also gives it a nice little border, and you want to be able to see that embossed border when you run this through. So it's okay. I do love labels, and I love our label punches. But I like label dies, and we're going to use this one. Now see how it gives that embossed edge right there? It looks pretty. Alright, so we can put some dimensionals here. I think since this is a long piece, I can go ahead and use my edge pieces here, and so they won't go to waste. I don't want my... I always save the edge pieces. I think we can put a tiny dimensional mini at the ends. It'll be on there nice and firm. We got one more thing before we add that on here. I have a vellum circle. I think it's 2 inches. And it's the patterned vellum. It's got some little words on it. You could use plain, either one. And I'm just going to cut it in half. We're going to put it so that it's coming out from the bottom of our sentiment. Well, let's see where we want to put that. We can use a piece of tear-in tape to hold it nice and firm. It won't show because it's going to be behind our label. Let's see. I think that will... move it over just a tiny bit. You don't see that much, but I think it just adds a nice little elegant touch. And you have another half piece to make another card. Get some linen thread, and we're going to make a tiny little bow. I use a bow maker because I don't do not a very good bow maker. Make the smallest one we can. if you don't have a bow maker, someone asked me about them the other day. There's some pretty nice ones on Amazon. They're not very expensive, that I think would work fine. Even though it says it's for wreaths and stuff, it makes small bows. And it's not very large. Doesn't take up a lot of space in your craft room. And we'll put that little bow down there with a glue dot. Probably 2 glue dots. Okay, now you know we need some bling, so I pulled out the polished dots because this pink color is going to look just right with the Blushing Bride. So let's put that on, put those little sparkles on there. And I'm just jumping around. These polished dots are so pretty. And the clear ones are great because they'll work with just about any color. These actually kind of pick up the color that they're near, the pink ones. Yeah, I think that works. All right, so let's decorate the inside a little bit. This is a thinking of you card, so it doesn't have to necessarily have a sentiment inside, but we can decorate a little. And we'll just stamp the Blushing Bride. Got dots everywhere on the inside. Those dots are all over the house sometimes. There we go. So there's our card. I hope you've enjoyed watching. How to make a pretty wreath card with sun prints, and not using the Knight of Navy, but using Blushing Bride. Thanks for joining me today. I'm glad to see Beverly's here, and Deb's here, and Leanne's here. And I'm sure some of the rest of you will watch on replay, and that's perfectly fine. So, sorry I've been missing in action, but I'll try to do better for the next couple weeks for you. Thanks for joining me this morning. Bye.